Eli Ward was just a janitor, not a space pilot, not a soldier, not a scientist. It's just a man with a mop and a long list of hallways to clean. He worked on Zirlon Station, a huge alien-built outpost floating near the edge of the Orion sector. Thousands of beings lived there, some tall with wings, some short with 3 eyes, some glowing with strange lights. And then there was Eli, the only human. Nobody really noticed him. That was fine with Eli. He liked quiet. He liked watching the stars. Outside the station windows, while scrubbing floors and replacing filters, he liked being invisible. Most aliens saw humans as weak, slow, and emotional. Eli didn't mind their looks or comments. He kept his head down and did his job. But everything changed the night he heard the sound. It was past midnight in station. Time Eli was cleaning near Hangar 9, a dark corner of the station that had been shut down for months. He wasn't supposed to be there, but a leak in the air duct system had forced him to check for water damage. Then he heard it, a low, painful growl, followed by the sound of something heavy shifting across the metal floor. Eli froze. Was someone else there? He crept closer. The hangar doors were slightly open. Inside it was dark and cold. He heard the growl again. Not angry, it sounded. Against his better judgment, Eli stepped inside. He held up his small flashlight and scanned the area. Then he saw it. A creature. Big, beautiful, and broken. It was a drakkar, a dragon-like alien species known for their power and intelligence. Its scales shimmered like oil in starlight, and large wings folded against its sides.
Ow.
One wing was clearly damaged. Blood, dark purple, stained the floor. The creature looked at Eli. Its eyes glowed gold. It didn't move. It was too weak. Eli slowly took a step forward, then another. He didn't know why. He just felt pulled. "It's okay," he whispered, unsure if the creature could understand him. "I'm not going to hurt you." The drakkar blinked, and its head lowered slightly as if in pain. Or trust. Eli dropped his tools and gently approached. He didn't have medical training, but he knew how to fix things. Pipes, filters, engines. Maybe he could fix this too. He worked quickly, but carefully. He used parts of his repair kit to clean the wound and create a splint for the broken wing. All the while, the creature watched him, breathing slowly. Hours passed. When he finished, Eli sat down next to the creature. Tired and unsure of what he had just done, the drakkar let out a soft, rumbling sound. Not a growl. Something gentler. "Kind of. Thank you." Eli smiled. Nervous but proud. "You need a name," he said. "How about Rune?" Creature didn't object. From that night on, Eli visited Rune every chance he got. He brought food, water, and tools to help heal the wing. He hid Rune from patrol drones and told no one. Not even the other janitors. This was his secret, and slowly the bond grew. Eli had always felt invisible in the galaxy. Just a small human in a big alien world. But now, he had a friend. A powerful creature who trusted him, who saw him. What Eli didn't know was that far across the stars, someone else had felt the connection to, and they were coming. Every day after work. Eli visited Hangar 9. He always made sure no one was watching. He kept the lights low and moved quietly through the shadows. The space station was full of ISIS cameras, patrol drones, and aliens with sharp senses. But so far, no one had discovered the secret. Inside the hangar, Rune was getting better. The first time Eli saw Rune stand on his own legs, he smiled like a proud parent. The dragon-like creature stretched slowly, testing his strength. The broken wing was still healing, but it no longer dragged behind him. Eli had used metal rods, cloth wraps, and even tape to build a proper support brace. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. "You're tougher than you look," Eli whispered, handing Rune a chunk of nutrient gel wrapped in dried meat. "Guess that makes 2 of us." Rune took the food gently from his hand, his glowing gold eyes never leaving Eli's face. Sometimes Eli felt like the creature was reading his thoughts. Maybe he was. Drakkar were not normal animals. They were part beast, part machine, and part something else, something psychic. Their species had been created long ago as living weapons by a powerful alien empire, but many had broken free and now lived with their own laws and their own ways. Still, they were rare, very rare, and very dangerous. If anyone found out Eli was hiding one, he'd be in serious trouble. Not just fired, maybe even executed under alien law. But he didn't care. Something had changed inside him. Eli wasn't just a janitor anymore. Not to Rune. To the creature, he was protector, healer, maybe even friend. Sometimes when they sat together in silence, Eli talked. He told stories about Earth, about blue skies and trees and oceans, about how humans had joined the galactic community only 50 years ago, and how most aliens didn't respect them yet. He told Rune how he had once dreamed of being a starship engineer, but life had taken another path. Money was short, opportunities were few, so he took a job nobody wanted. You know, Eli said one night, leaning against the wall beside Rune. Everyone here looks at me like I don't matter, like I'm just here to mop their floors. But you look at me different. Like I'm real. Rune gave a soft, low sound, a rumble deep in his chest. Not a growl, more like a purr. Eli smiled. Yeah, you get it. But the peace wouldn't last. Late one night, while Eli cleaned a maintenance shaft on the lower decks, he saw something that froze his blood. A Dracarian warship was docking at the station. Big, black, covered in glowing red marks. Everyone in the station seemed nervous. Even the security officers stood straighter when they passed. Dracarians were feared across the galaxy. They were part of an old warrior race, proud and ruthless. The dragon-like Drakkar were often bonded to them, not as pets, but as living weapons linked. By deep psychic ties, Eli felt sick to his stomach. Someone was here for Rune. He rushed to Hangar 9. Rune was awake, pacing slowly, wings shifting uncomfortably. You feel it too, don't you? Eli said. Rune looked toward the door and let out a low, warning growl. They're coming. That night, Eli couldn't sleep. He knew hiding Rune any longer would be impossible. Whoever had come was powerful, and they wouldn't stop until they got what they wanted. But Rune wasn't just property anymore. It wasn't just some lost beast. He was Eli's friend, and Eli wasn't going to give him up. Not without a fight. For the next 2 days, Eli lived in fear. He kept doing his janitor job, emptying waste units, fixing broken panels, and wiping alien slime off walls. But his mind was somewhere else. He kept checking over his shoulder, listening for heavy footsteps or sharp voices asking about Hangar 9. The Dracarian warship was still docked. Rumors spread through the station. Some said a high-ranking Dracarian noble had arrived. About a lost beast. Some even joked about a bounty hunter looking for stolen property. Eli didn't laugh. He knew the truth. They were here for Rune. That night, Eli slipped into Hangar 9 again. The door had new security scans. Someone had been here. Someone had checked. Rune, Eli whispered as he entered. The dragon raised his head. He had grown stronger. The wing brace was holding well, and his movements were quicker, smoother, but his eyes looked tense. You can feel them, can't you? Eli said. They're close. Rune growled, low and deep. His body shifted restlessly, tail twitching. He wasn't just scared, he was ready to defend. Eli placed a hand on Rune's warm scales. I'm not going to let them take you. For a moment, neither moved. Then, without warning, Eli felt something strange in his mind. A voice, but not a voice. A thought, not slave. Eli jerked back in shock. Was that you? Rune didn't move his mouth, but Eli felt the connection. Again, not pet, not property, free. Eli's breath caught in his throat. You're talking to me? Inside my head, the Drakkar stared at him with glowing eyes. Bond, not forced, chosen. Eli had read stories about this. Deep psychic bonds between Drakkar and their chosen partners. Usually it only happened with Drakkarians. And even then, it required a ritual, a blood pact. But here it was. Rune had bonded with him, not by blood, by trust. by choice. Eli sat down, trying to understand. Why me? I'm not a warrior. I'm not powerful. I'm just a janitor. You healed. You stayed. You saw me? Those simple words hit Eli harder than any punch. Nobody had ever said that to him before. Not his old teachers. Not the station staff. Not anyone. Rune had seen him. The real him. Suddenly, Eli understood something bigger. Oh. This wasn't just about a broken wing or a missing beast. This was about freedom, about dignity, about choice. He stood up, fire in his eyes. If they try to take you, they'll have to go through me, Rune growled again. But this time, it wasn't fear. It was approval. Outside, alarms began to sound. Eli's heart dropped. He ran to the hangar's tiny side window. 3 large figures were walking across the docking bay. One of them wore black armor with glowing red lines and a long cape that dragged behind him. His face was hidden by a bone-like helmet. But Eli didn't need to see his face. He could feel the anger. The owner had arrived. The station grew quiet. Too quiet. The normal buzz of voices, machines, and alien footsteps had faded. Even the patrol drones had moved to standby mode, clearing the main halls. Everyone knew something important was happening. Eli hid behind a large storage crate near Hangar 9, watching through a small gap. Then he saw him. The Drakarian noble. He was tall, almost 9 feet. His body was covered in thick black armor that shimmered like glass, but looked as strong as steel. Red energy lines pulsed across his chest and arms. A long cape dragged behind him, and sharp spikes rose from his shoulders. His helmet looked like a dragon's skull, and in his hand he held a heavy weapon part sword. Part gun. This was not someone you wanted to meet in a dark hallway. Behind him walked 2 more Drakarians, also armored but smaller. Guards, most likely. They stopped at the hangar door. The noble raised one hand, and the panel beeped. Locked. He turned his head slightly. Break it, he said, voice cold and deep. His guards stepped forward. One pressed a strange device to the door. Sparks flew. After a few seconds, the door slid open with a hiss. Eli's heart pounded. He slipped back into the shadows and ran through the side entrance into the hangar, where Rune was already waiting. The dragon's eyes burned with gold fire. His wings were half raised, body low and tense. They're coming, Eli said. We don't have much time, Rune growled and moved closer to Eli, placing himself between the door. In the human, the air inside the hangar changed, heavy, electric. Then the noble stepped in. He paused at the sight of Rune. His helmet tilted slightly. So, he said slowly, you're alive. Rune bared his sharp teeth. The noble took a step forward. You disobeyed me. You ran. You left the bond. His voice stayed calm, but Eli could feel the rage underneath. You must return. Rune gave a loud, echoing growl. Eli stepped forward, fists clenched. He's not yours anymore. The noble finally looked at Eli. The gold eyes behind the helmet seemed to study him like a bug on glass. And what are you? A cleaner, a rodent. I'm the one who saved him. Eli said, he was left to die. You abandoned him. I gave him purpose. The noble snapped. You gave him weakness. Rune growled louder. His tail smashed into the ground, shaking the floor. You feel it, don't you? The noble said, pointing a finger at Eli. He's bonded to you now. That bond is illegal. You're not. Drakarian, you are not worthy. Eli's voice stayed strong. He chose me. Then you have stolen from me, and I will take him back. The guard stepped forward, weapons ready. Eli didn't move. Rune let out a roar that shook the hangar walls. His wings stretched wide. The broken one was still weak, but it moved with strength now. The noble took a step back, you see? Said you lost his loyalty. You lost his respect. You don't get to own him anymore. The noble was silent for a moment. Then he removed his helmet. His face was sharp, scarred, and full of pride. I am Vorak of House Corrin, he said. I do not ask twice. Rune stood tall behind Eli, and Eli didn't back down. Then maybe it's time someone said no. Vorak's eyes burned with fury. This is not over, human. Then he turned and walked out, cape swirling behind him. His guards followed in silence. Eli collapsed to the floor. Breathing hard, Rune lowered his head beside him. They had won. For now. But the real fight had just begun. Eli didn't sleep that night, after Vorak left Hangar 9. The air on the space station felt different. He could feel it in every hallway, every quiet look from alien workers, every patrol drone that passed a little too slowly. The Dracarian wasn't finished. He was waiting, watching, and Eli knew it. By the next day, a formal notice was sent to the station's command office. A human civilian has illegally bonded with a class of Drakkar. Under Dracarian law, this bond is theft. The Drakkar must be returned or force will be used. They wanted Rune back. Eli was called in by the station council. It was a round room filled with alien officials, thin, green-faced Andari, four-eyed. Zalari, even a human commander. They looked at him with confusion and concern. You bonded with a Drakkar? The human officer asked. Eli stood straight. He bonded with me. I didn't force anything. That doesn't matter to the Drakkarians, said a Zalari elder. They see it as a crime. He was dying, Eli said firmly. Vorak abandoned him. I saved his life. Tensions don't matter, another alien said. Politics do. There was silence. Then someone suggested it hand Rune over. Eli's fists clenched. You'd give him back to someone who left him to die? He is not yours to keep, said the council head. We protect you, we risk war. Eli shook his head, so I should just watch them take him. Let them break him again. Human commander stood up. Eli, you're just a janitor. This is bigger than you. No, Eli replied. That's where you're wrong. That night, Vorak returned to Hangar 9. This time, he brought 6 guards. Eli was waiting. Not with weapons, but with words. This hangar is under temporary protection by the station council, he said, holding up a datapad. They've agreed to delay any action until formal talks begin. Vorak stepped forward, his eyes glowing with fury. You think words will protect you? Rune stood beside Eli, wings raised, teeth bared. I don't need protection, Eli said. I need truth, Vorak scoffed. Know nothing of truth. Drakkar are not pets. They are war beasts, forged to serve, not your weapon. Any more, Eli said. He's free, Vorak growled. That bond is an insult. You are not worthy of him. Maybe, Eli admitted. But I didn't leave him broken and bleeding. Dude. For a moment, even the guards looked uncertain. Eli continued, voice steady. You claim the bond is illegal? But according to galactic law, sentient beings have the right to choose. Rune chose me. He cannot choose what he doesn't understand, Eli looked at Rune, then let him answer. Rune stepped forward. His psychic voice filled the air, not in one mind, but in all present. I was used. Then I was forgotten. He healed me. He stayed. I choose him. The words hit like thunder. Vorak's face twisted with rage. You shame me, Rune's eyes narrowed. You shamed yourself. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Vorak pointed at Eli. This isn't over, human. You've made a powerful enemy. Eli took a step forward, standing tall. So have you. Vorak turned sharply and walked away, his guards following in silence. Eli exhaled, his whole body shaking. Rune moved beside him, lowering his head gently. They had stood their ground. Together, but deep inside, Eli knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning. News spread fast across Zierland Station. A human janitor had stood up to a Drakkarian noble. Ash. A Drakkira had chosen him over its original master. And the bond between them, formed without force, was holding strong. Some aliens were shocked, some angry. But many were ... curious. This had never happened before now. The Galactic Council was sending a legal team to review the case. Until then, no one could touch Rune, or Elin, even Vorak. Still, Eli knew this was only a small win. Vorak was powerful, and he had influence. The kind that didn't always follow rules. Eli spent most of his time in Hangar 9. He fixed broken panels, cleaned around Rune, and prepared supplies just in case they had to leave fast. Rune's wing was almost fully healed now. The brace was off, and he could stretch both wings wide. "You're almost ready to fly," Eli said one night. Rune let out a soft, deep purr, but peace didn't last long. The next morning, an explosion rocked the lower deck. Eli rushed to the nearest screen and saw the alert. Unidentified energy blast in Sector 12. 1 human injured. Suspected sabotage. It wasn't random. It was a message. Vorak was playing dirty now. Later that day, Eli was called back to the station council again. This time, the room was tense. Soldiers stood near the walls. Vorak was there too, standing tall and silent in full armor. A hologram of the Galactic Law Officer, robotic figure with glowing blue eyes, appeared in the center. "The case is unusual," the law officer said in a calm voice. "A human, not of noble blood, bonded with a Drakkar. Bond formed willingly. No ritual, no contract, no permission." Vorak raised his hand. "That bond is illegal in Drakkarian space." "But we are not in Drakkarian space," the officer replied. Silence. Eli stepped forward. "Rune is not property. He's not a thing to be owned. He chose me." "Isn't that what freedom means?" The room remained quiet. The law officer spoke again. "According to Galactic Code 1427b, all sentient beings have the right to bond freely, as long as no force or mind control is involved." Vorak's fists clenched. The officer continued. "The bond between Eli Ward and Rune has been confirmed as natural and mutual. Therefore, it is legal under galactic law." Eli felt his knees weaken, but he stood tall. Vorak took a step forward. "This is an insult to my house, to my honor." "Then maybe your house needs to rethink what honor means," Eli said. Gasps echoed across the room. Vorak's eyes narrowed. "You're just a human, weak, unworthy. Why do you care so much?" Eli didn't shout. He didn't look away, because for the first time in my life, someone saw me. Not as trash, not as a cleaner, but as a person, and I won't let that be taken. The words hit hard. Even the station council looked moved. Vorak said nothing, but his face told the truth he had lost. Not just the bond, but the control, the fear, the pride. He turned and walked away without a word. Later that night, Eli stood on the upper deck, watching the stars. Rune stood beside him, wings folded, golden eyes glowing in the dark. "Guess we made history," Eli said softly. Rune's voice entered his mind. "No, we made a choice." Eli nodded. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel small. He felt ... human, and that meant something now. 1 week passed. Zierland Station had gone back to normal, at least on the surface. Drones floated down hallways. Traders shouted over prices in the market deck. Repair teams worked on damaged sections from the earlier sabotage. But something had changed forever. Eli Ward was no longer just a janitor. His story had spread across the galaxy. A human had formed a natural bond with a Drakkar. Not through force, not through power, but through kindness. Some called it impossible. Others called it dangerous. Eli didn't care what they called it. He just called it right. Inside Hangar 9, Rune stood tall, wings strong, tail calm. The injury was healed. The brace was no longer needed. He could fly again. Eli stood by the control panel, adjusting the final settings on a small freighter ship he had borrowed from a local trader in old ship, but spaceworthy. "You sure you want to do this?" came a voice behind him. It was Commander Briggs, the human officer from the station council. Eli looked at him. "If I stay, Vorak will keep trying. He's angry and I've embarrassed him. Can't risk bringing more trouble to the station." Briggs nodded slowly. "You're braver than most soldiers I know." Eli smiled. "I'm just a janitor." Briggs raised an eyebrow. "Not anymore." The next morning, the hangar opened. Rune stood at the launch platform. His wings spread wide, light bouncing off his shimmering scales. Eli walked beside him, gear packed, ship ready. As they reached the ship, Rune stopped and turned his head toward Eli. Eli paused too. You're not just coming to protect me, are you? He asked softly. Rune's voice entered his mind. We fly as one. We are partners. We are free. Eli smiled. Then let's see what's out there. They walked into the ship together. The engines lit up with a soft hum. The hangar doors slid open, revealing the stars endless, bright, full of mystery and danger. The ship rose. Eli looked down one last time at Zirlon Station. He had mopped its floors, cleaned its air ducts, been ignored in its hallways. But here, in this forgotten place, he had found something bigger than himself. He had found purpose. He had found friendship. And maybe, just maybe, he had started something the galaxy wouldn't forget, far across the stars. Inside a dark hall lined with red lights and sharp metal walls, Vorak knelt before a massive hologram of the Dracarian High Council. He spoke slowly, his voice full of anger. The bond holds. The Drakkar will not return. He has chosen the human. The hologram replied with a cold voice. Then the human has made an enemy of us all. Vorak lowered his head. I will find them. When I do, I will take back what is mine. Back in space, Eli's ship entered warp. The stars stretched into long lines, and the hum of the ship filled the silence. Eli sat in the cockpit, looking out at the endless dark. He wasn't afraid. Are you? And sat beside him, calm and proud, I guess. We're not cleaning floors anymore, Eli joked. Rune's deep voice replied in his mind. No. Now we change worlds. From somewhere in the wide and wild galaxy, two unlikely souls, a human and a dragon, flew free. Together, the end.